know that feeling when something impossible happens, when you see something that just can't be real. Well, a few weeks ago, something happened at my job that was so unbelievable. It got the whole store shut down. The police reviewed the security footage, and what they found was me. The CCTV clearly showed me as the last customer in the store that night. The problem is, I wasn't there. I was the one working the night shift, completely alone. What the camera captured wasn't me, and I still have nightmares about what it was. Let me give you some background. I worked the graveyard shift at a small, 24-hour convenience store tucked away in a quiet, almost forgotten neighborhood. It's usually dead quiet after midnight. For the first few months, it was perfect. Easy money, lots of time to read. But then, things started getting weird. It began with small stuff. The lights over the snack aisle would flicker, but only when I was in that specific aisle. Items I'd just stocked would be slightly out of place, sometimes on a different shelf entirely. I brushed it off as me being tired, my mind playing tricks on me. But then, customers started noticing things too. One night, an old man buying milk squinted at me and asked, "Who's that standing behind you, son?" I turned around. Nothing. Just the brightly lit rows of chips and candy. I laughed it off, told him it must be the late hour getting to him. But he wasn't laughing. He just shook his head, paid, and left without another word. A few days later, a young woman dropped her basket and ran out of the store, pale as a ghost. I asked what was wrong, and she just pointed behind my counter, stammering. There was someone. I saw someone. Again, I was completely alone. My boss checked the cameras the next day and said there was no one. The incidents kept piling up, and my easy night shift started feeling like a nightly test of my sanity. The first major incident happened on a Tuesday. I was restocking the coolers when I heard the distinct chotching of the cash register drawer opening. My heart leaped into my throat. I crept to the front, expecting to find a robber, but the store was empty. The register drawer was wide open, cash untouched. I checked the security monitor behind the counter, my hands shaking. As I rewound the footage, the screen glitched for a split second, right at the moment the drawer opened. It was just a flicker of static, but it was enough to obscure whatever had happened. I tried to calm my nerves, telling myself it was a faulty wire, a system bug. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw it, a shadow, tall and thin, moving down aisle 3 on the monitor. I physically looked up and peered down the real aisle 3. It was empty. The fluorescent lights hummed, casting long, clean shadows from the shelves, but there was nothing there that could have made that shape. I watched the monitor, mesmerized, as the shadow figure glided down the aisle and simply vanished into the wall. That's when the fear really set in. This wasn't just my imagination anymore. Something was in the store with me. Something the cameras could see, but I couldn't. After that night, I became obsessed with the security footage. I'd spend hours rewatching the tapes from my shift, looking for any other anomalies. My boss thought I was going crazy, but he let me do it as long as the store was clean and stocked. The main event, the one that got the place shut down, happened a week later. I was in the back office, running through the previous night's footage, when I saw something that made my blood run cold. At 3:33 a.m., the front door opened, and someone walked in. It was me. Or, it looked like me. It was wearing the exact same clothes I had on my work polo. My jeans, my worn-out sneakers. But it wasn't me. I was right here, in Teofis. I watched, frozen, as this thing, this copy of me, started walking through the store. Its movements were just a little off, a little too smooth, like it was floating. Its skin was unnaturally pale, almost translucent under the store's bright lights. And its eyes, on the grainy CCTV footage, they were just two dark, empty pits, the creepiest part. As it walked past the freezer section, the glass doors that normally reflected everything showed nothing. This version of me had no reflection. It glided from aisle to aisle, its feet never seeming to make full contact with the floor. It was a perfect, horrifying mimicry of me, a doppelganger roaming the aisles of my empty store. I couldn't look away. I was glued to the screen, watching this imposter. It browsed the shelves, picking things up and putting them back, just like a regular customer. Then, It stopped. It was in the middle of the canned goods aisle, and it slowly turned its head until it was staring directly at the security camera. And through the camera, it felt like it was staring directly at me, sitting in the back office. My heart was pounding against my ribs. The figure on the screen opened its mouth, and a distorted, guttural whisper crackled through the monitor's tiny speaker. I couldn't make out the words, but the sound was vile, ancient. As it whispered, the lights in the real-life canned goods aisle flickered and went out, plunging that section of the store into darkness. I jumped in my chair, my eyes darting between the dark aisle and the monitor. In the dark aisle, I could see through the office doorway. Then, I heard a soft thud from the main floor, right behind me. Something had moved. I was watching the footage, but the thing on the screen was interacting with my reality. That's when true panic took over. I slammed my laptop shut, but the monitor on the wall, the one showing the live feed, switched channels on its own. It focused on the camera directly above the back office door. And I saw it. On D-screen, I could see the back of my own head as I stared at the monitor. And standing right behind me, just inches away, was a dark silhouette. A towering shadow that hadn't been there a second ago. The camera was showing two of me in the room, the real me and the thing that had been haunting my store. I didn't even scream. I just bolted. I launched myself out of the chair and scrambled for the front door. As I ran, I heard the office door slam shut behind me with a deafening bang. Then, footsteps, heavy, echoing footsteps, chasing me through the empty store. I fumbled with the locks on the front door, my hands trembling so hard I could barely turn the key. The footsteps got closer, faster. I finally wrenched the door open and threw myself out into the cold night air, not stopping until I was blocks away, gasping for breath under a streetlight. The next day, I called my manager and told him I quit. I told him everything. He must have believed me, or maybe he was just scared enough, because he temporarily closed the store for maintenance issues. He and the owner reviewed the security system logs from that night. They found nothing. No record of any customer entering after midnight. The entire CCTV file from that night was corrupted, completely all except for one single, terrifying frame. My manager sent it to me. It's a blurry, low-resolution image from the back office camera. It shows the back of my head, and right behind me, there's a hand. A long, gray hand with spindly fingers reaching for my shoulder. That's it. That's the only proof I have of what happened. The store never reopened. If you're brave enough to want the complete story, to see what else I found in the archives before that night, I've uploaded some of the earlier, creepy footage I managed to save on my channel. Check the link in the description. Maybe you can find something I missed, but I'd suggest you do it with the lights on, before a camera somewhere captures something standing behind you tonight. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.